This is my favorite story, and it like creeps me out just because we've been there.
Dude, he was working with somebody.
Alleged abductee.
It seems spooky.
First of all, this sounds like CIA. He was definitely CIA.
I hate cul-de-sacs.
You're damn right.
You're damn right, because Greg loves conspiracy. He really wanted to call this the Campfire Club at the end of Mayfield Place.
Yeah, the Hellfire Club, Stranger Things. Oh, who knows? But yeah, I think Mike is Frank the Pug.
Frank, he's definitely Frank the Pug.
Frank the Pug. Okay. I like Frank.
So I wanted to share a story because this has connections to a place that we visit in the summer our whole lives in Maine, and it has connections to New Jersey, which we kind of live currently right now.
What do you mean kind of?
Jersey connection.
Because we don't live here sometimes. We live here other times. This is where the studio is, but we may be all over the place because we like to investigate.
Wait, how
this
did
type
you
of stuff.
find out about this? Was this in the hot sheets? Because I got the latest hot sheets, and this is where the Men in Black obviously get all their stuff. But I did not see anything
Dude, that is.
about this.
Wait, did you actually pick one of those up?
I have the hot sheets. Look at this. Aliens on the Moon, which is why we have not been to the moon since 1972. These are all...
That's a whole nother topic.
It is another topic. But I didn't find anything about the Men in Black in here.
We're sticking to a particular topic.
All right.
One particular topic on the Cul-de-sac Club, and I want to share this with you because it's fascinating.
Okay.
The Men in Black phenomena refers to reports of mysterious, unusual, dark-suited figures who appear after UFO sightings, abductions, or paranormal events. They intimidate or warn witnesses and researchers to stay silent, often displaying bizarre, inhuman traits like robotic movements, odd speech, pale or unnatural skin, lack of facial features, and vehicles that look brand new but are decades old. These encounters span decades and form a core part of UFO folklore, blending possible government intimidation, hoaxes, psychological effects, and claims of non-human or interdimensional entities.
I want to give you a backstory on this gentleman, Dr. Herbert Hopkins. He's a 58-year-old physician. I'm going to read a bunch of things because this story is a little detailed. And you guys can make comments throughout the way. I want to hear what you guys thinking along the way of this Men in Black story, because this happened to a family physician, and he was an allergist based out of Old Orchard Beach, and this happened in 1976. A bit of a background for him, why he was targeted. He was doing medical research, including studies in multiple sclerosis, and had recently become involved in hypnosis. And at the time, Hopkins was acting as a consultant on an alleged UFO abduction case and a teleportation case from 1975 in Oxford, Maine.
First of all, this sounds like CIA. He was definitely CIA.
You don't know that. You don't know that. And we don't.
Dude, he was working with somebody then.
All right, he was working with somebody, but this gentleman named David Stevens, he was alleged abductee by entities that we don't know. All he was describing and what was in his case file supposedly was he was abducted and he was encountered these mushroom-shaped head creatures, and he was brought onto this craft. Hopkins was fascinated with UFOs. He studied that, and he obviously did a lot of hypnotherapy.
Just in his spare
and that was
time.
one of the reasons.
The doctor.
Doctor, yeah, that was like he was dabbling into this from supposedly what the story says, and from different accounts of people that have told this story. Now, this story that you're about to hear from Hopkins wasn't told by him. It was told by his children later on. But then we also have a grandchild that came forth later on in 2008, and he ran a blog. So I don't know if he was trying to politicize his blog at the time or not, whatever, but we'll get to that. He was working on this case with Stevens and supposedly another companion that was abducted or have seen this UFO and was brought on this craft.
All right, so before we get into the story.
Yeah, before.
Old Orchard Beach, Maine, 1976.
Yes.
He's definitely working with somebody, because you don't just bring in a physician or a doctor. Just the local PD? No way.
So no, it wasn't like the local PD are bringing this in. This gentleman, obviously, in the UFO circles, you would come in and pretty much say, "Hey, we had this gentleman." And if you ever watch like the X-Files or something, they're trying to figure out, like, I have these visions, right? So I've been abducted. I have these visions. Can somebody help me out? So obviously this happened in Maine. This gentleman's from Maine. So he was brought to this doctor, Dr. Herbert Hopkins, and he wanted to do regression therapy through hypnosis.
Yeah, to go step by step.
Yeah, to help him out and figure it out. And he was making tape recordings at the time.
I would love to hear these tapes.
Yeah, and a lot of other different material that he was writing down during these sessions. And it pretty much, people say it put a target on Hopkins from doing this like research in there.
He was digging too deep.
He was digging too deep.
This is what I find weird.
Maybe they're grave diggers.
Maybe they're grave diggers. You don't know.
Or fishermen.
Fishermen.
It could be anything at this point. This is my favorite story. And it like creeps me out just because we've been there. I would actually love to
go to the house.
Yeah, go
and hide in the bushes.
Next time we go up to Maine, go and see where this actually happened. Ooh. And if he actually was a real person and lived in this area. Because sometimes I never know.
Wait, you're saying he's not a real person?
Well, I don't know. You don't know about these cases because these cases are secondhand. They're not from like Dr. Hopkins himself. Because when you hear this story, you'll realize like, all right, how did this get passed down? This was just a verbal story that was passed down through the UFO community. Are people making this up? Who's making money?
That's like national treasure. You know, Benjamin Gates was passed this information on, and look what he found. But National Treasure 3 is also coming out soon, by the way.
Sure it is.
Go on.
All right, go on.
Here we go.
So as we know, this takes place in Old Orchard Beach, Maine, September 11th, 1967. Dr. Herbert Hopkins was home alone, and he received a phone call from the New Jersey UFO Research Organization. Now, the gentleman said he was going to pay a visit to him. And then all of a sudden, like right as they hung up the phone, he received a knock at the door.
This sounds like Scream.
It does. He received a knock at the door, and the way like he describes this, before the actual encounter, I'm just going to describe what this Men in Black supposedly looked like. And you can tell me if he's creepy or not.
What?
So this man was dressed in a dark suit with perfectly creased pants, a white shirt, black tie, black shoes, socks, gray suede gloves, and a black derby hat.
Think how people dressed back then. So that's not uncommon. Okay.
Oh, it's not uncommon.
In 76? That maybe in the 60s, but not in 76.
Here's where it gets a little creepy. Like if you saw
real quick, only one guy.
Only one person.
Man in black. Okay, got
it.
And
in a lot of cases, there are two gentlemen that will usually show up. But anyway, upon removing this gentleman's hat, it was revealed that he was completely bald with no hair anywhere, no eyebrows, no eyelashes. His skin was described as dead white, pale, smooth, plastic-like, resembling a doll or a corpse, and his lips were ruby red, later revealed to be lipstick when he brushed his glove across his mouth. Now, after he...
Lipstick?
Yeah, because when he rubbed his face with his glove, it smeared red onto the glove, exposing that he had no actual lips, just a thin, straight slit for a mouth. His nose was unusually small for his face, and his ears were small and positioned lower than normal on his head.
This isn't Michael Jackson.
I mean, it could be. You don't know.
Okay, sorry.
But Michael Jackson at this time did not look like this.
This is true. 76. You're right.
He spoke with a mechanical monotone with no inflection, like Greg likes, like that kind of like radio voice.
I hate that.
Like the radio voice, no inflection. He seemed like a robot. He was described as a robot or a machine, lacking any natural fluidity. Like there was nothing normal about this guy. Overall, he gave off an inhuman or not quite of this world vibe to Hopkins himself. That's what he was described as.
Okay.
Like if this gentleman, I would not let this gentleman in my house.
Yeah, but you got to think about it, right? You are fascinated by UFOs, aliens, probably the extraterrestrial, paranormal.
Hopkins he's curious.
Like I would bet. Yeah.
What is this thing at my door?
When the Men in Black, when he did come, he goes, "Hey, I'm from the New Jersey UFO Research Organization. I just want to have a few questions about UFOs with you." And he said, "Sure."
Wait, what month was this?
This was September.
So it could be pre-Halloween trick-or-treating. Let's find out.
Interesting take, Mike. Interesting take.
Mike would definitely get killed in
all right, so
Halloween movies.
They go to the living room. They start talking. Hopkins is sitting on the couch. This gentleman is sitting on the chair. and starts asking him some questions, like deep, involved questions that only somebody close to the David Stevens case would know. And then when Hopkins was describing some of this, he said, yes, that's the way I understand it. Hopkins realized like he'd never asked this guy's name. So he never like he just knows he's from the New Jersey UFO Research Organization. The conversation shifted to the point to Hopkins' pocket. So like after they were talking about, this UFO case, he goes, there's 2 coins in your pocket. I know you have 2 coins in your pocket. One is a penny and one is a dime.
What the hell?
He said, please take out the penny. Hopkins takes out the penny, holds it in his palm. And as he's doing this, the coin starts changing color from supposedly copper to silver, then to a bluish hue. And then it got really fuzzy. And the way it was described, it dematerialized, like right on the palm of his hands. And then the man stated, neither you nor anyone else on this plane will ever see that coin again. Plane, like this plane of universe.
Okay.
Not an airplane, Greg.
Right.
Like a level plane.
Then after this happened, this is where I think Mike is really going to love the story because he mentioned this the other day to me. So after he did this with the coin, he then referred to the 1961 Betty and Barney Hill case, the abduction case that happened in New Hampshire, asking if Hopkins knew about this case. And he said,
wow.
do you know how Barney Hill died? And then Hopkins goes, I guess of a heart attack. Now, mind you, this event that happened to Benny and Barney Hill happened in 1961. Then this is where it gets a little creepy. And the visitor corrected him, like after Hopkins said it could have been like a heart attack. He goes, no, that's not entirely accurate. You no longer have a coin, just like Barney doesn't have a heart.
That's what I had heard, that the Men in Black took his heart.
And he pretty much gave like a threat. Right. But then now the conversation was kind of coming to an end. And Hopkins described this guy as starting to lose his speech. He was slurring and very spaced out, almost like you were falling asleep or you were drunk. And he goes, my energy is running low. I must go. Goodbye. And then he goes to the door. He goes out the front door and he's walking step by step as described. Because when Hopkins ran over, he saw him like he would stop on each step. So it's not like a natural, like, all right, I'm just walking down the steps. He would stop on each step. And then Hopkins described he saw a bright bluish white bathing the area. So like all this white, not like a natural car light that was in this. It was just, it looked like he walked around the corner and then it lit up. And that was it.
Because from what I understand, Men in Black intimidate people who have seen UFOs or experienced some kind of encounter. So by him doing the penny thing, was he basically trying to intimidate him? Like, do not get into this UFO stuff? Because
that's what it seems like.
The way I made that penny disappear.
That's pretty much what he described. Because after this encounter, he pretty much destroyed all of his tapes, all of his records to the Stevens case.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, and he ceased involvement with any UFO investigations altogether. There's no real follow-up, but he discovered later on the New Jersey UFO organization did not exist. And then supposedly there was another follow-up call after a while with this woman saying, hey, I want to ask some more questions. And he pretty much like said, no, like I'm not involved. Don't ask me anything. I got rid of everything.
How did he die? The doctor.
I'm not sure exactly. I'd never looked that up, and I really wanted to look up like where he actually lived in Old Orchard Beach and see if there was any records of all that.
Go to the house.
I never really delved into it just because I do love this case, and I'm fascinated just because this one Men in Black story, I think, kicked off a lot of just the lore to them because it's so detailed.
It is so detailed, but I have a lot of questions then.
Yeah,
and here's a couple questions.
I'll see if I can answer them from my research and reading.
If they do this to people that either encounter UFOs or aliens or are helping out people that have seen UFOs and aliens, there's some prominent figures that have come out like with UFO stories or alien stories have never talked about the Men in Black. Like Bob Lazar, perfect example. You would think like if he was at Area 51 working on UFOs, working on alien technology, that he would have been visited by the Men in Black. Now, he only talks about being threatened by the government, FBI, whoever else, like of them trying to destroy his work and his tapes and every research thing that he has. But he's never come out against the Men in Black.
I mean, that's a lot of different cases. You hear some people that encounter them, and I don't know why other people encounter the Men in Black and some people don't. I don't know.
Like
Knock on our-
my favorite Men in Black story is the Dan Aykroyd one.
Oh yeah.
That car vanished. That car was a cloak, and whether this was like a warning to me, because the guy got out of the back seat, gave me a real dirty look. That car vanished. I know what I saw.
That one's okay, but I like Dan Aykroyd. I want to say I'm a skeptic on that one. Just
Okay.
because he's always been into ghost. I mean, granted, we are too, but like we've never experienced it. But he worked on this show. He did a couple other shows
But it got
after that.
canceled. They canceled that show.
Yes, they
The
canceled that
paranormal
particular show, but he also has a bunch of other shows that did air. So why that one? He did say like I had some information, but like what particular case were you working on that one was no good, but then your other 3 shows that you did afterwards,
Here's what I'm thinking.
were able to air and stuff. So I
Yeah,
don't
that-
know. I'm skeptical.
Here's what I'm thinking. The show actually did air, and then the Men in Black, as we saw in the Men in Black movies, held up that little
This
thing.
guy's in his fucking ruler.
It zapped everyone, and we all forgot the show.
Well, then I think that one of the most famous pictures of the Men in Black is the two of them coming in to, what was it, the hotel? I forget.
This
which
was
hotel?
in Canada. Some people
Oh, yeah.
speculate it was in Canada or in New York in Niagara Falls, around that area in the hotel. Yes.
Yeah.
That was in 2008, 2009, I believe.
Oh, is that when that was? Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that image is everywhere.
Yeah, that image is everywhere. And here's another thing, like too, like maybe if you're a skeptic of this story, was he hypnotized, this doctor? Or was he dreaming this, that, he was having some of these like thoughts or premonitions about somebody coming in and basically telling him not to do this work?
He could have, and this is where it gets to the skeptical part of it, because years later, Hopkins' nephew, also named Herbert Hopkins, was an author, and in his 2008 blog post claimed the story was fabrication. He described his uncle as fantasy-prone, attention seeker
Oh, wow.
who made hyperbolic tales, and noted that during the 70s and 80s, Hopkins was an alcoholic who drank heavily alone. His nephew suggests the encounter was inspired by cheap fiction. But again, I don't believe that too, because he never made a dime on this. It was
Yeah.
his kids who came out years afterwards and stated that this was a thing. And if he made it up, maybe he just made it up for the family. But I don't think
was the Men in Black prior to this incident really big?
Yes.
All
Because,
right.
because the first incident happened in 1947.
How- wait, 19 what?
No.
50s, 60s.
No,
Stories about Men in Black started coming out 50s, 60s
No.
from the research that I did.
No. No.
Harold Dahl was the first incident that happened in Washington in 1947 after the UFO flap. He was a
Oh, yeah, I
pilot-
do remember that
He was
one.
a pilot who saw UFO on like training missions,
Yep.
and then afterwards people visit him, and this is one of the first known cases. Dude, I love the Men in Black. So like, I love these
And
stories.
what year was that?
That was 1947. And then if you look at Albert Bender,
47.
yeah, Albert Bender, the book that you have that I recommended, the Nick Redfern book in the 1953, he also was into UFOs, and he had an encounter with some groups. And in 1957, 3 men in black suits described like clergymen, but wearing hats and glowing eyes. And it's a whole nother case, but that was another big case that had ties to the Men in Black. Another big case was the Mothman
Oh.
Prophecies book by John Keel. If you actually read this book, and which I do love the movie, The Mothman Prophecies, but they leave out a lot of details of this actual event in the 1960s, 66 to 67. And the list goes on. Like, again, there's also Robert Richardson from 1967 in Ohio that saw a UFO, and the Men in Black contacted him. But in 1968 in Jersey City, this is one of the most famous pictures, and he looks like your typical Men in Black, figure with the hat, the suit, and everything. So that's another case that, ties in.
Now, is this all in this book? Because when you were telling me about Men in Black, I was checking out a couple different books, and you had suggested this Nick Redfern one. Does it have all these
Some of them, yeah.
cases
Like
you're talking
one of the
about in
big
this book?
cases that he has in there is the Bender case. A little snippet on the Mothman,
Okay.
Because he does extensive work on it.
Really?
I used to go down rabbit holes with the Men in Black, and I for some reason I just love this case. because the guy never made any money. I thought it was very fascinating. And if you're going to make up a lie, like he was very detailed, like what it looked like, how it sounded, the stuff that he said to him.
Yep.
And it just seemed credible to me. Even if years from now it proves to be a hoax, it's just fascinating. And
what brings me back to that story too is if you're really thinking about it, right? Tied into like Stranger Things, which is kind of based off of the Montauk Project, based off of like events that have happened and the CIA, projects or whatever, where he makes the coin disappear and then like he's running low on energy, probably because like he did that and it probably takes a lot out of him if it is such a project or an extraterrestrial being or something like that. Kind of lines up with some of the things that we know now. And if you really think about it, most of those movies or shows are based off of some true events.
True. The thing I like about this is because if you read John Keel's notes and some of the books that he wrote, also Nick Redfern, they describe this not as like aliens, but interdimensional beings. Like they're kind of trapped. Almost, I would say, not like purgatory, but they're in a plane where they're kind of like human, but also like alien-like, and they're from other dimensions. They talk about it extensively in their work. Like John Keel describes, like in this book, but the Mothman Prophecies, but in also some of his other writings as like demonic, supernaturalist like beings, or they're definitely not human, but they're not also just aliens.
Well, I mean, then I guess, are you telling me that the Men in Black movies with Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith are lies?
I mean, maybe they're actually true. And because there's another guy, I forget his name, this gentleman who wrote a case file book on the Men in Black. And
Blaine Duncan.
No, it was Keith something. I forget his last name. But he talks about like extensively the different cases as well. He believes that they're like government agents. He's like, there's probably like 5% that are like inhuman or aliens checking up on whatever this is and to see how much like they remember or know. And then he said most likely it's government agents kind of coming in and like seizing files. Because if you look at, a lot of people believe like the Men in Black are a real government organization. And if you look at any of the things, like right when Nikola Tesla died, there's stories of these Men in Black or people that came in and took all of his research work.
I mean, yeah, FBI back in the day or any of those government agencies, yeah, you probably wore a black suit and a black tie and a black hat.
But did they use the
So it does make kind of sense.
to get... is that real from the movies? Like, did you
in these hot sheets?
Frank the Pug. He's Frank the Pug.
look at this?
He just watched Men in Black.
Invades America. Is that
He's
not
Tommy
real?
Lee
Is that-
Jones, and he's like, "Look at this. Do you ever read these things? These is the real truth."
But
That's what they said
does
in the
make
movie.
it does make you like wonder, right? Like all these stories, where did they actually come from? Because some have to be based off of something and true, and then some are so outlandish that people are probably like, "Oh, that's not true," and when in reality, it
has
probably
to be
is
based in truth. Chris not buying Kanye's apology rap has to be
Throw that
real.
out, dude. I don't even know why you purchased that.
Yeah, I mean the Men in Black. So like,
You don't even know.
It would be awesome if it was true.
I think a third of it is interdimensional, like Nick Redfern and John Keel say. I think a third of it is government agencies just messing with people, or they just want certain documentation, or
I think they don't like want like, especially.
I don't think it's aliens.
I don't know. I don't think it's aliens. I think it's the U.S. government trying to say that what happened to you isn't real because they don't want what to get out, like UFOs and aliens to get out, right?
Paranoia.
Like look how like long they said Area 51 did not exist.
True.
And if you look at like if you look at the Roswell incident, right? They said like the first guy came out, said it was true. And then a day later, he's like, no, it's not true. Like, so they're trying to control the information that's going out there because they want their narrative of that it's not.
Yeah, that's the way it works, man. And they intimidate some of these people.
So
like they
what
did.
are you saying, Greg? Are you saying that you feel that it's real? Do you think Men in Black are real? Are you giving Matt's story a Reese's or a rock?
I mean, I think definitely it's real. I think these people were visited by somebody.
It's a good story.
Because
Reese's.
Like I think like I said, like they wanted to be intimidated. They want their version, not like the truth to come out so they can control like, hey, we're the only people in the universe. You know, aliens aren't real. UFOs aren't real. Because like the breakdown of society would happen, I think, if people found out, you know, other people are here or they visited us, you know, UFOs are real. But like I've always said on other shows that I think what people think are UFOs, 95% of that is government black projects.
Wait, are you saying that you think you brought this up on other shows?
Oh, I have. I do like the story. I think it's a Reese's.
I think, yeah, I'm gonna give it a Reese's.
Reese's?
I bought the book.
It's great.
I'm interested in learning more about this. So yeah, I dig it.
No, you're not. I don't feel it.
No
I don't
shot
feel
you
it.
read that book.
No, definitely not.
I got it on Kindle.
No shot you read it though.
I got it on Kindle.
got the book. So I got an audio book.
I don't think you'll ever read it. I
the
told you
table
about
of
this book like
contents.
5 years ago.
I just bought this thing when you brought this episode up. And
Anyway.
Mothman is chapter 5. Mothman arrives in Point
What
Pleasant.
page was I correct?
What page did you say?
1976.
No, I said between like the 30s and 40s.
I'm going to go with 34.
It was page 53.
All right, I was
Ooh.
off.
Not bad. Not bad.
53.
Not bad for Men in Black.
I dig it though. It seems spooky. It's a good way to keep the spookiness going when it is not Halloween season. So I'm into it.
And you could be a Men in Black, you know, for Halloween. It's
Yep,
it's a great Halloween costume.
It is.
I love it.
We're doing another giveaway.
Before you go,
Before you go.
there is a giveaway, but we'll do it after trivia.
Hold
Trivia
on.
first.
What about this video?
This is the video.
No. But we're doing a giveaway for this video.
Yes, we are, but we'll let them know what it is. So we're going to do trivia first.
Okay.
All right, so we have some trivia before we go. We like to do trivia at the end of each
This
show.
trivia is going to suck,
Men in
Mike.
Black trivia?
Yes, it
Yeah,
has Men in
it
Black
is.
ties.
Agent J.
Are you guys ready for this?
Men in Black.
Hopefully. I mean, I haven't read the book yet, but I'm gonna
You don't have to read the book. If you followed along.
What's the author's name of the book?
Nicholas Redfern or something.
Okay.
Nicholas Redfern?
Nicholas Redfern.
All right, so we're
Michael
ready.
Picarella. Okay.
Come on, put the book down. Here we go.
Trivia time.
Trivia
With Matt.
time.
Nick Redfern.
So this person was mentioned on the episode, so it should be
I have a
really easy to
terrible
get.
memory.
All right, so
all right, let's see what it.
who is the person that coined the term Men in Black? All right, who coined the term Men in Black?
A.
Was it A, John Keel?
Yes.
B, Lowell Cunningham?
Nope.
You don't even know who that is.
You couldn't even say his name, so no, that's
Lowell
throw that out.
Cunningham?
Lowell Cunningham.
I know who Lowell Cunningham is.
All right, so Mike can tell
I
it.
know.
C, Art Bell.
Love Art Bell.
Art
Matt
Bell.
loves Art Bell.
Love Art Bell.
Or D, Nick Redfern.
Ooh.
Say, what was the first one again? It was A.
John Keel.
John Keel. Jonathan Keel.
Fuck.
Any guesses, guys? Any guesses?
I'm going to go A or
Yeah.
D.
No, well, pick one.
Well, okay.
I was gonna go A or D too. I wanted to see what you picked. I'm gonna go with D. I'm gonna go with
So you're gonna go with Nick Redfern, Greg.
no. I'm gonna go with A. I'm going with A. Final choice.
I was going to go with A.
All right, so you're both gonna go with A, John Keel. You both be correct.
Yeah, my man! What's in the box?
What's in the box?
But I do know that Lowell Cunningham is the guy who did the Men in Black comic book series.
Hell yeah! See, that was a
It's
little
hard to
tie-in.
get
Hello,
those.
I knew
though.
Greg
I
would
was
get it.
trying to look into getting those, but you can only find them on like eBay. They're pretty expensive.
Well, that's another promise. That's another promise Greg's gonna do.
Maybe that's for Christmas, Mike.
Promises made.
So
promises
anyway,
kept.
thanks for tuning in to the Halloweeniacs. Make sure to follow along to all the weirdness because man, I love this block. We are the Halloweeniacs on Mayfield Place.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Wait, you can't end yet because now all these people watching have all this information on the Men in Black. Don't you kind of have to? We got to zap that information out of them, like in the movie.
Hold on a second.
But we want to maybe this giveaway. We want to,
Yes.
you know.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So for this video, there's going to be a special giveaway. The top comment, leave a comment in this YouTube video. The top comment will win the flag that Mike
The Cul-de-sac Club. We'll take a
Mike
picture
has
of it.
hanging
Wait,
in the
who's
back.
gonna vote on these comments, and what's the criteria?
Just me.
Greg is gonna pick. The
I'm going to
winner.
pick the top comment.
Whatever
I'm gonna
one
send
Greg
you a
likes.
flag of the Cul-de-sac Club.
So what's the criteria? Just whatever
criteria,
tickles
top
your
comment.
fancy.
Yep, you leave a comment. I'll pick the top one. Send you a flag.
Ooh, that's a nice giveaway.
I mean, how do we know how to tailor our comments to Greg?
You're just gonna have to guess, and
Yep.
hopefully he picks a really good one. I'm kind of curious how this is gonna go, and
I'm
the winner
kinda
we're gonna
curious
pick
how he's gonna
probably the
judge.
weekend of the 20th. So you have a week to watch and comment.
So do they have to like and everything, or you're just picking a comment? That's it.
Well, they have to be a subscriber, so there you go. Be a
Top-
subscriber.
Top comment.
Top comment. If you're a fellow Halloweeniac, you already know what to do. Help spread the word, keep those jack-o'-lanterns lit, and those mysteries coming. And until we see you in the pumpkin patch at the end of Mayfield Place,
Stay spooky.
everybody watching this video knows too much about the Men in Black. Gentlemen,